Matthew Saltmarsh is a chief spokesperson at the UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency, and is joining us live from Geneva in Switzerland. Matthew, thank you for coming on the show now. Do you think enough is being done to prevent these dangerous crossings that are happening?
Well, our position and those of our partners is that not enough is being done to prevent these dangerous crossings and also to intervene when we are seeing these crossings. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, there's been a huge storm in the Mediterranean that's battered both North Africa and countries on the European coastline. And we still don't have clarity on how many people have been lost. The lower end of the estimates could be 70, 80 people, but the upper end of estimates are much, much higher than that. So I think this demonstrates, as in recent years, that these crossings are extremely dangerous. And we need to look at a variety of different solutions. Part of that, of course, is the search and rescue capability. But very importantly, it's for countries to look at creating safe passages, safe pathways for refugees to be able to go, particularly to Europe, but not only to Europe, and to be able to do so safely so that they don't put their lives at risk. And also, I think importantly, is to look at the root causes. Why are people moving? Of course, there are refugees and asylum seekers who are fleeing persecution and war. That's apparent. But there are also migrants moving. And these are people who are fleeing economic poverty and very difficult conditions at home. So it's important to have a holistic approach to this and to try to address the reasons why people are leaving. And if you look at the international community right now, last year we saw enormous cutbacks in the amount of humanitarian assistance that's going to countries, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, but in the Middle East and Asia as well. And we think that that is actually going to make the situation even more problematic.
Clearly, it's an extremely dangerous journey that so many people are attempting, Matthew. Do we know sort of if there needs to be more of a joined up approach internationally? Is that part of it too, that nations need to come together to try and sort this out?
I think definitely that is the case. So on the one hand, and here we're talking about the Mediterranean primarily, you have the European countries, and there is much more they can do in terms of asylum systems, so creating more efficiency, but also, importantly, returning people who fail as asylum seekers, who don't have international protection needs. It's important that they are able to go home. And that is complicated. It requires a lot of international coordination. Countries have to be willing to take them back. But also importantly, as asylum seekers, migrants, refugees move together along routes, it's important, we think, that assistance is channeled to them where they are and where they find themselves, so that possibly they can find solutions in those countries. They can get humanitarian support, but also they can have opportunities to create livelihoods, to have some work and training, so that potentially that they can go home more easily than taking these dangerous routes. And then finally, of course, when people do take to the seas and take these dangerous routes across land, it's important that the structures are there that can support them, whether that's search and rescue at sea or disembarkation and support when people come off, and allowing them reception services as well.
And Matthew, finally, what role do people smugglers have in these dangerous crossings at the moment?
Well, you talked about the incident in Greece, which is tragic. And of course, our deepest condolences go out to all those who are affected there. But it's not only Greece. There are numerous crossings from Tunisia and Libya, and increasingly from West Africa up through Spain. So you've got those three important routes going up to European countries in the Mediterranean. And people smugglers and human traffickers are important in this pattern, because wherever they see the opportunity and the potential, they will go. And that's one of the reasons why you see the pattern of movement changing over time. Sometimes there are more numbers going to Greece, sometimes to Italy, and sometimes towards Spain. And it's wherever the opportunity arises, and people will exploit that. So it's absolutely imperative that international countries come together to redouble efforts to clamp down on these gangs, whether that's through the judiciary or whether that's action in departing countries.
Okay, Matthew Saltmarsh live from Geneva there. Thank you.
Thank you.